Chapter 31 Cultivation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Early the next morning, after solving the problem of Dai Yao's cultivation environment, we have to solve Zhu Zhuqing's problem. After understanding Zhu Zhuqing's needs for the mimetic environment, Feng Wudong said in surprise. The dark environment that Sister Zhu Qing needs is just right here. Where? Dai Yao asked. Right behind the waterfall, there is a cave hidden behind the waterfall. The cave is dozens of square meters and is deep and dark. It is just suitable for Sister Zhu Qing to practice. Everyone came to the waterfall, used their soul power, passed through the waterfall, and came to the cave. Zhu Zhuqing looked at the environment of the cave with joy. She clearly felt that the surrounding qi was very consistent with her martial spirit. Practicing here could achieve twice the result with half the effort. She nodded to Dai Yao. There was no need to find a mimetic environment for her today. Okay, Zhu Qing, you can practice here. If you need anything, just call me. After leaving the cave and coming to the water pool, I felt a little nervous looking at the cascading waterfall. When the sun rises, the sunlight shines golden on the waterfall. Dai Yao took off his clothes, leaving only a pair of underwear, and moved around a little. After all, it was still winter and the temperature was very low. If he didn't have soul power to protect his body, he wouldn't dare to practice like this. Feng Wudong looked at Dai Yao's body and sighed secretly. How come this prince is so skinny? He really lived a life of fine clothes and fine food in vain. Without saying a word, Dai Yao ran out barefoot and got under the rapid waterfall. He stood on a big rock below, using his soul power to resist the continuous heavy pressure. The center of gravity was washed away by the current and became very unstable. As a result, it slipped and fell into the water. With a plop, Dai Yao splashed a huge splash. Dai Yao climbed out of the water like a drowned rat and waded back to the shore. Feng Wudong asked in surprise, "What are you doing?" Practice. Shaking his head, using soul power to resist the endless waterfall was a good way, but it was too painful. Feng Wudong didn't think that the prince who was well-dressed and well-fed could bear this kind of pain. Dai Yao, who was soaked all over, got into the waterfall again. This time he chose to sit on a stone. Compared with standing, it was easier to stabilize his center of gravity. He knew that practicing under the waterfall was torturing himself, but if he wanted to survive in the competition for the throne, he had to persevere. Sunrise and sunset, time flies. 10 days later, Dai Yao was sitting under the waterfall, soaked all over, using his soul power to withstand the continuous blows of the waterfall for an hour. Just when he couldn't bear it anymore, a bottleneck that had been unable to be broken suddenly fell into place under the pressure. With a bang sound, an invisible force burst out from Dai Yao's body, exploding the water splashes in all directions. The waterfall also stagnated for a moment, and then a more powerful impact knocked Dai Yao into the water. Although he became a drowned rat again, he was not depressed at all, but was excited. I have finally broken through. Level 12 soul power. Dai Yao's soul power is in the liquid state, while ordinary soul masters are in the gaseous state. In other words, the soul power he needs to go from level 11 to 12 is much more than that of ordinary soul masters. Correspondingly, the quality of his soul power is much higher. Both the power of his soul skills and the durability of his spells are stronger than those of ordinary soul masters. This is also the reason why Dai Yao only has 11 levels of soul power after absorbing 700 years of soul rings. On the shore, Feng Wudong, dressed in fiery red clothes, also had a happy smile on her lips. She was happy that Dai Yao had advanced, as Dai Yao exhausted his soul power and kept falling into the water, and after saving some soul power, he rushed into the waterfall without hesitation. Feng Wudong didn't believe that Dai Yao could persist at first, then gradually became surprised, and finally admired him from the bottom of his heart. Dai Yao does not look like a noble boy, but an ascetic. She didn't know why Dai Yao tortured herself like this, but seeing Dai Yao reap rewards through hard work, she was also happy for Dai Yao. At the same time, there was a wave of fluctuation in the cave behind the waterfall. A beautiful black figure passed through the waterfall and came to Dai Yao's eyes. Zhu Zhuqing's face was like ice and snow melting, and a beautiful smile bloomed, and he said to Dai Yao, "I have made a breakthrough. I am now at level 10. As long as I get the soul ring, I will be a real soul master." That with Dai Yao by her side, it only took Zhu Zhuqing more than 20 days to break through. Without Dai Yao, it would have taken her a month to break through, which was shortened by more than 10 days. This shows how much her cultivation speed increased with Dai Yao's side. Fear. What a double happiness. When are you going to hunt the soul beast? Dai Yao felt Zhu Zhuqing's joy. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was cold and cold all year round. I will go back to my family tomorrow. I will come back as soon as possible. Zhu Zhuqing walked to Dai Yao, leaned close to Dai Yao's ear, and said softly, "You must miss me." Looking at the somewhat naive Zhu Zhuqing, her face was flushed. This move probably meant a lot of determination for her. Dai Yao rubbed his eyes. Is this still the Zhu Zhuqing in his impression? Why is she not like the iceberg beauty at all? Zhu Zhuqing jumped into the forest, waved to Dai Yao, and said softly, "I'm leaving, goodbye." Dai Yao also smiled and waved. The current Zhu Zhuqing may be the real her. In the depressive atmosphere of the Zhu family, she had to freeze herself to protect herself. Although the shadow of competition for the throne still hangs over her heart, she is no longer alone. Dai Yao will always be with her on this road. Feng Wudong looked at the man and woman with envy, supporting each other and caring about each other. This kind of love sounded very beautiful, the sour smell of love, where Dai Yao didn't notice. With the breakthrough of his soul power level, the chaotic green lotus in his spiritual world also bloomed its second petal. Star Luo Royal Academy, in the middle of a grassland, a tall and powerful man sat cross-legged. He exhaled slowly, came back from his cultivation state, and asked casually, "Is there any major event in the academy recently?" An afterimage flashed past, and as the soul power surged, the figure of a student appeared. In order to report the information, they all rushed with their soul power. "Boss, there haven't been any major events in the academy recently. The eldest prince and the second prince have had disputes from time to time, and there have been a lot of minor quarrels. Among our civilian soul masters, one of the academy's mimicry training grounds has been taken over by others." "Sees it? That really doesn't take me seriously." A gleam flashed in the man's eyes, and his plain tone contained endless pressure. "He is the number 3 in the academy who cannot be messed with, the 29th level battle soul master, Nantian, the martial spirit, black armor crazy lion, is also one of the top beast martial spirits. The civilian student who occupied the training place is named Feng Wudong. After being occupied, Feng Wudong did not leave. According to the urine of those nobles, I am afraid she." The student looked at Nantian worriedly. "I know what you mean. You just surrendered to the nobles. You have no other intention but physical compensation. There is nothing unspeakable." Nantian snorted lightly. "You have to earn your dignity by yourself. Some people are willing to be dogs, so there is no need for us to stop them. However, after all, Feng Wudong was considered one of ours before, so we can't let her be bullied. After a while, follow me to see the person who robbed her." Chapter 32 Meeting Dai Yaming again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sunset on the West Hills. Dai Yao waded to the shore, waited for his clothes to dry a little, and then returned to his house. With the help of Zhang Xiaofan, the college's construction team arrived the day after the duel with Feng Wudong. At Dai Yao's request, the house was specially built simply, using some ordinary wood as beams and ceramic tiles as the roof. The main reason is that he does not have the financial resources to build an exquisite house. Feng Wudong's comment, "This really doesn't look like a place where nobles live." After changing his clothes, Dai Yao shouted towards the thatched house, "Let's finish our meal." The cafeteria is in the college, so he needs to go back to the college every time he eats. Dai Yao finds it quite troublesome and wastes a lot of his training time. Hearing a clear cry, a fiery red figure appeared above the thatched house, and arrived in front of him the next second. "Let's go." Feng Wudong said happily. Soul power surged, and Feng Wudong turned into a fiery red line, streaking across the sky and flying towards the academy. Dai Yao could only use explosive steps, shuttle through the forest, and follow him. College cafeteria. As far as the eye can see, there is a clear hierarchy between nobles and commoners. Most of the people on the first floor were civilian soul masters, sitting together. Making noises and laughing constantly, the nobles were sitting on the second floor. The atmosphere was quiet and their movements were graceful. The only sound they could hear was the collision of knives and forks with dinner plates. From time to time, he looked down at the civilian soul masters, his eyes full of contempt, and his condescending attitude made the civilian soul masters on the first floor very unhappy. What are you proud of? Isn't it just that you have a good background? If I had their identity, I would have been a great soul master long ago. Some people were envious. One day, I will become a noble. Amidst the noise, Dai Yao and his 2 men arrived at the cafeteria. You are the prince, you should go to the second floor. Feng Wutong reminded. Along the escalator, Dai Yao was stopped as soon as he stepped onto the floor of the second floor. Go down, this is not a place for low-class people like you. The guard scolded, and after speaking, he was about to push Dai Yao down. A purple and gold card appeared in Dai Yao's hand. He looked at several guards and said indifferently, Now, can I come to the second floor for dinner? The guard carefully knocked the purple gold card in Dai Yao's hand, and was shocked. They looked at each other and could see the surprise in each other's eyes. It turns out you are the deputy dean's man, please come quickly. Several guards quickly changed their faces and said flatteringly. Dai Yao didn't blame them for looking down on others. After all, he didn't dress like a noble. Moreover, the law of the world is that the weak eat the strong. A few guards stopped him, which is the law of the world. He put away the card and was about to move forward when he was stopped again. Looking up, he saw the fat man next to the second prince. The fat man pointed to his feet and said arrogantly, The second prince has given orders. This place is not for you. The first floor is where you should go. Not far away, the second prince looked at Dai Yao with a slight smile on his face. As a prince, you still want to stop me? Dai Yao saw the malicious smile and secretly yelled that he was careless. After the breakthrough, he relaxed his vigilance and was caught by the second prince. I'm afraid I can't be kind today. Oh, look at you. You don't look like a prince in your dress. If you didn't know better, you would have thought you were a beggar. If you come to a restaurant exclusively for nobles, wouldn't you have tarnished the honor of the nobles? The fat man said with an exaggerated expression. The noble spirit masters who were dining all nodded, not wanting to feel humiliated eating with Dai Yao, who was dressed like a commoner. Dai Yao used his status as a prince to suppress the fat man, and the fat man used Dai Yao's clothes to make an issue, thinking that he was detrimental to the dignity of the nobles, and tied all the nobles together. Even if the royal family wanted to blame him, he would have a reason. What's more, with the second prince taking care of him, how could he possibly blame the fat man? Then I have to eat here. Dai Yao's calm tone suppressed the anger that was erupting like fire in his heart. Isn't it a big joke that a noble prince can't dine in the noble dining area? By then, he would have become the laughingstock of the Royal Academy. The fat man smiled contemptuously, and was instantly possessed by the martial soul. 2 yellow soul rings flashed, and invisible pressure rushed towards Dai Yao. Are you going down by yourself, or should I invite you? The fat man smiled half-heartedly. The movement on the second floor also attracted the attention of the first floor. Everyone looked up and started talking after learning about the conflict. When did the empire have a 4th prince? Why didn't I know? He was recently knighted. I just don't know how the 4th prince got into trouble with these nobles. A well-informed person explained. Dai Yao briefly compared his own strength with Fatty's, and realized that he had no chance of winning. He gritted his teeth and slowly went downstairs. The second prince Dai Yaming leaned on the railing, looked down at Dai Yao, and asked maliciously, You said you told me not to regret what I did before, but now I have no regrets. Hearing Dai Yaming's provocative words, Dai Yao did not look back. Dignity is earned by oneself, and he is far from the second prince's opponent. What he lacks now is time. As long as he is given enough time to realize his potential, Dai Yaming is no match for him. What we have to do now is to be patient. The civilian soul masters on the first floor also started talking. Why was the 4th prince driven down? Someone looked around and asked. It's really useless. Your majestic prince dare not fight back after being bullied like this. If you were me and dared to insult me like this, you would fight to the death. Someone looked down upon Dai Yao. Arriving on the first floor, Dai Yao found an empty seat and started eating under the gaze of everyone. A nobleman coming to eat at our civilian soul master's place is really ridiculous. The onlookers cast contemptuous glances at Dai Yao one after another. Usually these nobles are superior, but now there is a noble who has been kicked out. How can they not add insult to injury? Have you said enough? A fiery figure dispersed the crowd gathered around and came to Dai Yao's side. Everyone has bad days, don't you all have compassion? Feng Wudong drank to the onlookers. You must like him, don't you? Do you want to be the princess? Do you think he will remember your kindness if you help him now? Their aristocrats are ruthless by nature, and they are black from the bottom of their hearts. He will never remember your kindness at all. That the onlookers' malicious speculation about Feng Wudong made her so angry that her eyebrows stood up. Just as she was about to fight back, a hand was placed on her shoulder. Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate it, but this is my business after all. You shouldn't get involved. It's not good for you. Dai Yao looked as usual, as if he was not affected by the humiliation by the second prince just now. He slowly walked out of the cafeteria and took one last look at the second floor. At this time, Dai Yaming was paying attention to him, raising his glass, and the meaning of ridicule was getting stronger and stronger. Taking a deep breath, he came outside the cafeteria. When he was about to go back to practice, he saw an unexpected person, Cavan. Chapter 33 Goodbye Dai Mubai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The three people passing by attracted Dai Yao's attention, one man and two women. The man in the middle is holding two women. The women have beautiful faces and slim figures. The most surprising thing is that the two women have exactly the same faces and are actually twins. The man in the middle is handsome and unrestrained, with a resolute face and unrestrained behavior, just drunk. Even from a few meters away, Dai Yao could smell the smell of alcohol. This person is exactly Dai Mubai. The third prince has changed again, and he has become a lot more romantic recently. A nobleman joked. These nobles are extravagant and wasteful, playing and singing every day. Those women don't live up to it, and post it if they don't need money. Commoner soul masters are envious and jealous, but Dai Yao could see the decadence in his bohemian eyes. Giving up on oneself in despair, thinking of the high-spirited figure on the duel field not long ago, Dai Yao sighed. After coming to the academy, he had heard that Dai Mubai was no longer able to practice assiduously as before, but instead sought out flowers, and lived a chic life. However, how can a soul master practice so relaxedly? Practicing hard and facing up to difficulties is the attitude a soul master should have. Dai Yao saw Dai Mubai, and Dai Mubai also saw him. Dai Mubai's body trembled slightly, his eyes evaded, and his steps quickened a bit. He quickly left here without talking to Dai Yao. Dai Yao's heart was heavy. The failure of the duel caused Dai Mubai to give up on himself. As long as Dai Yao fails in the competition for the throne, this will be his future. No, I absolutely don't want this. Dai Yao clenched his fists and made up his mind to improve his strength as soon as possible. He transferred his soul power to his legs, quickly left the teaching area, came to the forest, and returned to his own mimetic environment. A few days passed. Dai Yao comes to the teaching area every morning to learn the basic knowledge of soul masters. The rest of the time is spent practicing against the clock, get to know soul beasts, identify the age of soul beasts, understand the weaknesses of different soul beasts, and learn the latest concepts in today's soul master world. He had always felt that, apart from the knowledge of twin martial spirits, the most useful knowledge taught to Tang San by the master in the original work was about spirit beasts. The 10 core theories are of no use at all. Moreover, some of the so-called knowledge has been known to the large forces in the mainland for a long time, but they only cherished it and did not spread this knowledge. It turned out that he felt that Yu Xiaogang, who knew so much about soul beasts, still had something to offer even if he had stolen a lot of family knowledge. But after studying at the Royal Academy, I discovered that every major force would learn and accumulate knowledge about these soul beasts. And it is broader and deeper than what the master taught. What's more, the knowledge about twin martial spirits was obtained from Bibi Dong. I really don't know what's good about Yu Xiaogang. He actually made 2 women, Bibi Dong and Lu Erlong, love him till death. Dai Yao pouted, I feel that compared with Yu Xiaogang's academic achievements, his skills in picking up girls are even better. It can be said to be the ultimate level. On this point, we should learn from Yu Xiaogang. Dai Yao thought, apart from studying, there is only cultivation left. Over the past few days, he has been working tirelessly and cultivating diligently. The number of times he fell into the water every day is countless, and his skin is wrinkled, although very tired, but feeling the growing soul power in the body, all the fatigue disappeared. Feng Wudong didn't know Dai Yao's life experience and encounters until he came back from the cafeteria that day. Dai Yao only has a noble status, and his daily life is worse than that of their commoner soul masters. At least she still has her parents who love her, but Dai Yao, whose mother passed away, and whose father is like a stranger, has to pretend to be stupid day and night to beware of the queen. How pitiful! Feng Wudong felt pity. She knew that Dai Yao had absolutely no chance of winning in the competition for the throne, and all her efforts now would be in vain. She once came under the waterfall and asked Dai Yao in puzzlement, you know you have no hope, why are you still working so hard? How do you know it won't work if you don't try it? Under the endless water pressure, Dai Yao replied with a faint smile without opening his eyes. Although Dai Yao's figure was small, from then on, in Feng Wudong's heart, he became extremely tall. A few days later, Zhu Zhuqing came back. After getting the first soul ring, she became more confident, and she had another duel with Dai Yao. The result was naturally that Dai Yao won. Zhu Zhuqing's first soul skill, Netherworld 100 Claws, was completely restrained by Dai Yao and could not break through the defense of the White Tiger barrier. Moreover, in terms of speed, Dai Yao's explosive step could keep up with Zhu Zhuqing's speed. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't find any hope of winning at all, so he readily surrendered. However, after knowing what happened to Dai Yao, the joy of getting the first soul ring was immediately diluted. The two looked at each other and both understood their current situation. Come on together. Dai Yao encouraged with a smile and stretched out his hand. Well, come on. Zhu Zhuqing also had a faint smile on his cold face, put his hand in Dai Yao's hand, and slowly leaned his head on Dai Yao's shoulder. Only Feng Wudong, who was alone, was not very happy. Thinking of the single dog that Dai Yao once said to describe this situation, she became very angry. The residence of the second prince, water pavilion by the pool, Dai Yaming stood by the river with his hands behind his back and asked, what's going on with Dai Yao recently? That the fat man stood aside, heard the second prince's question, and replied, Dai Yao hasn't done much. Ever since we humiliated him in the cafeteria, he has been practicing in the mimicry environment and has never come out. A civilian soul master is responsible for everything such as meals. The second prince turned around in surprise and asked the fat man. He didn't come out. I didn't expect that he could hold back after being so insulted. The second prince looked surprised and uncertain, and Dai Yao's reaction was indeed beyond his expectation. He didn't care about Dai Yao's potential alone. After all, 6 years was not something that talent could make up for, but Dai Yao's behavior of enduring the humiliation made him feel afraid. Young people are not arrogant. He originally planned to humiliate Dai Yao severely, anger him, and then defeat him in public. At the same time, he used the same method on Zhu Zhuqing to humiliate them from all aspects of strength and dignity. Under such all-round and multi-level humiliation, he still didn't believe that Dai Yao could survive. As long as he cared about his own dignity, he could only commit suicide to escape the humiliation of reality. Unexpectedly, after being so humiliated in the cafeteria, Dai Yao actually endured it and returned to the mimicry environment to practice with concentration. We can't let him practice with peace of mind. The second prince thought in his mind. After much thought, there was nothing I could do. As long as Dai Yao does not come out to challenge, he will not achieve his goal. Why did our royal family have such a shrunken turtle? The second prince thought angrily. As of now, there is only one way. Fat man, from today on, you will go to the place where Dai Yao practices to challenge him. If he doesn't accept it, you will provoke him so that he can't practice with peace of mind. I don't believe it anymore. Is he the reincarnation of a tortoise? The second prince said fiercely. In the Royal Academy, you are not allowed to engage in martial arts privately. You must go to a special duel field to duel. In the Star Luo Empire, the most famous gladiatorial arena is the White Tiger Duel Arena of the Star Luo Royal Academy. Xingluo's previous All-Continent Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Tournament has been held here. The White Tiger Duel Arena is a place that many Star Luo Empire Academy Soul Masters dream of. As long as they ascend this duel field, it will be the glory of their lives. The fat man hesitated. Your Highness, I am a great soul master after all. Isn't it too embarrassing to challenge a first-level soul master in such a big battle? That the second prince sighed in his heart. He really had no one available. Under him, there is only Fatty, a second-level soul master, and there are several great soul masters among the noble soul masters. Although they are dependent on him, they will never do such shameless things, he said. Fat man, you know my situation. Those noble soul masters will not help me. You are the only one I can rely on now. Face is nothing. Don't worry, as long as I win the throne, I will definitely be crowned the emperor. You are a noble. It turns out that the fat man is the civilian soul master that Nantian said sold himself to the nobles in order to seek glory. The fat man looked at the second prince sheepishly, hesitated for a while, and finally gritted his teeth and said, Thank you for your trust, second prince. I will definitely complete this matter. That evening. Dai Yao's training place. Dai Yao, who was sitting under the waterfall, noticed something moving in the forest. When he opened his eyes, he spotted Fatty and his group. A contemptuous voice came over. You haven't come out for so many days. I thought you were a turtle hibernating. The second prince specially asked me to come over to see how you are doing. The fat man glanced around and found that Dai Yao's living environment was so simple. Burst out laughing. Dai Yao didn't react at all. He closed his eyes and continued to use the soul power in his body to resist the constant pressure on his head. Seeing Dai Yao ignoring him, Fatty suddenly became furious. As a civilian soul master, he has always been looked down upon by others, but since he became the second prince's servant, except for those who met the eldest prince, everyone had to call him Fat Brother when they met him. Why does Dai Yao look down on others? Isn't he just a prince? Even when death is imminent, he still maintains a posture. Thinking of the second prince's instructions, he suppressed the anger in his heart and sneered. Fourth Highness, as a prince, why are you so cowardly? I want to challenge you now. Do you dare to agree? Hearing that the great soul master was going to challenge the first-level soul master, the people who followed Fatty were a little surprised and looked at Fatty in weird ways, but the fat man went all out and ignored him. Looking at Dai Yao silently, he sneered in his heart. The second prince had long expected that Dai Yao would not accept the challenge. All he had to do was to continue to interfere with Dai Yao and prevent Dai Yao from practicing in peace, so he continued to curse, You coward, you are as cowardly as a mouse. The nobles have lost all their face. Although everyone despised the fat man's behavior, when they saw Dai Yao being so insulted and not fighting back, they felt contempt for Dai Yao in their hearts. Scholars can be killed but not humiliated, and no one with a bit of blood will let himself be humiliated. What's more, Dai Yao is a noble. Nobles value their own face and dignity more than their lives. I'm quite busy these days, so I only have 3,000 words. Chapter 34 Nantian. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The fat man kept cursing, but Dai Yao was like an old monk in meditation, motionless, as if there was no interference at all. Everyone also despised Dai Yao more and more. It's so embarrassing. A prince, being scolded by name and name, dare not say a word in reply. Some people look down upon Dai Yao's silent behavior. We are all nobles, but we have all been humiliated by him. He does not deserve to be a noble. The noble soul master said angrily. After all, he is only a first-level soul master. If a great soul master provokes him, he will definitely not dare to challenge him. Avoiding his edge and protecting himself is the wise man's choice. There are also people who appreciate Dai Yao's behavior. Everyone was talking a lot, but Dai Yao still sat under the waterfall without saying a word. The fat man couldn't bear it any longer. You coward. A coward. A wretch. A coward. A motherless person. He searched for everything and used everything he had learned in his life. He couldn't believe that he was so literate and colorful in cursing people, and he never did it again. And when he curses, he has ups and downs, as if he is playing a song. At this moment, he is wencuxing alive. When everyone heard the fat man's constant words, they no longer despised Dai Yao, but felt pity for him. Even if they listen, they can't stand it, let alone the person being scolded. They seem to have discovered a new world. They looked at the fat man curiously and wanted to hear the new words from the fat man's mouth to fill their own poor vocabulary. However, Dai Yao still sat there, like a stone statue. The fat man had a mental breakdown, and his verbal attack seemed to have no effect on Dai Yao. His mouth kept pumping out words, his neck gradually became thicker, his face turned red, and he almost spit out all the saliva, but Dai Yao remained motionless. Qi and blood surged to his head, and the fat man felt a little dizzy and staggered a few times. You know, he had been outputting for more than 10 minutes. This fighting ability is definitely that of a canyon pianist. No matter how dirty he was, Dai Yao just ignored him. He tried every method, but nothing worked. He couldn't stand it anymore, so he sat down on the ground and said with a broken spirit, "Fourth Prince, Your Highness, I beg you. Please pay attention to me, I'm done talking." At this moment, Dai Yao's soul power was also exhausted. The barrier protecting his body flashed a few times and disappeared. The powerful water flow poured down, washing Dai Yao into the water. Dai Yao poked his head out of the water and shouted to the fat man. "Take care of me. Take care of me. You can't bear it anymore, right? You want to accept the duel, right?" Hearing Dai Yao calling him, he was ecstatic and rolled to the water's edge, as if the thirsty traveler finally had a drink of water. "No, I mean, if you are thirsty, I can give you water." Dai Yao replied with a smile. Puff. Upon hearing these words, the fat man's eyes were filled with stars, his head turned into a ball of mush, he could no longer think, and he spurted out a mouthful of blood. Everyone laughed. The fat man struggled to stand up, and finally said to Dai Yao, "Don't think that if you don't agree to the duel, His Highness will not be able to cure you. Just wait, you will look good in the future." A civilian soul master is not allowed to insult a noble, let alone a prince, but Dai Yao is not a normal prince. Anyone who can become a prince must have the support of his mother's family behind him. However, Dai Yao's mother is just an ordinary person and does not have a strong influence, resulting in Dai Yao being alone. In the competition for the throne, it is not only a duel of the prince's personal strength, but also a duel of the forces behind the prince. A prince with no power behind him would be unable to secure the position of Star Luo Emperor. So this is one of the reasons why many forces are not optimistic about Dai Yao. During the royal duel, one prince's lack of strength was looked down upon by the other prince's subordinates, and he was further insulted. This did not violate the rules. Even if the Presbyterian Church wants to take action, it can't find a reason. What's more, the party that imposes the attack will definitely take action to block the intervention of the Presbyterian Church. If Dai Yao is bullied by the second prince, not only will the second prince stop him, but the eldest prince will also intervene, so that the Council of Elders will have no way to intervene. As everyone left, a wet Dai Yao returned to the house, sat cross-legged and meditated to restore his soul power. He remembered all the words the fat man used to insult him. He didn't have the ability to fight back. If he retorted and scolded the fat man, he would be doing what the second prince wanted. The best way to fight back is to keep silent, practice seriously and not be affected by the fat man's verbal attacks. This defeated the second prince's purpose. Dai Yao kept silent and allowed the fat man to humiliate him. He pretended that nothing had happened, but he was very uneasy inside. You can scold him, he doesn't care. But when the fat man insulted his mother, uncontrollable anger surged in his heart. Fortunately, he was far away and his ferocious expression was not seen by the fat man. Emperor Xingluo's father was just a stranger to Dai Yao. Over the years, Dai Yao had always treated him as dead, although his mother was of low status and had always been looked down upon by the nobles. In Dai Yao's mind, she was extremely noble, and he would not allow anyone to tarnish her reputation, but with his current strength, he was no match for Fatty. It was not advisable to hit an egg against a stone, not to mention that there was a second prince behind Fatty, and he is not alone like before, and Zhu Zhuqing is with him. He couldn't put Zhu Zhuqing in danger because of his own affairs. He not only carries his own fate, but also Zhu Zhuqing's fate. Wait, fatty, I will make you pay for what you did today. Dai Yao said harshly to himself. After a period of time, Fatty became famous. The fat man gained a reputation as a performer in the academy, and everyone's expression changed when they heard about it. Even the second prince was a little surprised. After the second prince had this nuclear weapon, whenever he encountered a hostile force, he would not need to personally take action. Simply relying on his reputation as a performer at Fatty Academy, the opponent would lose his parents before the battle even started. For a moment, the second prince's power was unparalleled. Contrary to Fatty, Dai Yao's reputation is much worse. He has become a joke in the Star Luo Royal Academy. Dai Yao's reputation as a coward spread throughout the academy. The second prince actively spread Dai Yao's bad reputation, and when the eldest prince knew about it, he was very happy and joined the team to spread Dai Yao's bad reputation. Driven by the two princes, Dai Yao became the object of despise by everyone in the Xingluo Royal Academy. From time to time, several people would come to Dai Yao's training place to meet this legendary celebrity. This is the legendary coward Dai Yao. He is a prince after all. Why is he so cowardly? A new schoolgirl looked at Dai Yao in his cultivation state, covered her mouth and chuckled. The eldest prince and the second prince look down on you, but these fourth princes, you have a chance to fulfill your dream of becoming an imperial concubine. Another woman said teasingly. Go away. The schoolgirl was a little annoyed. I don't like such a useless man. Ha ha ha, there are advantages to this kind of man. If you tell him to go east, he will not dare to go west. The woman continued to tease Dai Yao's advantages and teased the schoolgirl. Suddenly, a burst of flame struck and drove the two women away. Do you think the fourth prince likes you? Why don't you take a selfie and take a look at yourselves? You are all crooked and cracked. Who can like you? A fiery red figure appeared between the two of them. In front of him, not only was his tone aggressive, but the yellow soul ring also released endless pressure. You. Both women were a little unconvinced. What are you doing? Get out of here. Do you want me to take action? Feng Wudong shouted sternly, with his hands on his hips, full of heroic spirit. The two women glanced at Feng Wudong viciously. When they saw the yellow soul ring shining, their expressions changed drastically and they left quickly. Humph, is it fun for two big-breasted and brainless women to make fun of others? Feng Wudong thought angrily, things like this happen every day. Even she, a bystander, can't stand it, let alone Dai Yao, who is at the center of public opinion. Thinking of this, she can't help but feel sympathy for Dai Yao. No, it's too hard for him to be alone now. I have to help him. Feng Wudong made up his mind. A few days later, sensing something strange in the surrounding environment, Dai Yao opened his eyes. In front of him was a tall and mighty man, wearing a red cloak. He stood there like a javelin, motionless, exuding an extremely domineering posture, like a mighty lion on the grassland. Who are you? Dai Yao asked. Yi Nantian. The man answered. These three simple words seemed to have infinite power and made the air become silent. Dai Yao's eyes narrowed. He had naturally heard of Yi Nantian's reputation. As the third most untouchable person in the academy, he was also the spiritual leader of many civilian soul masters. His every move attracted the attention of countless people in the academy. I'm afraid I'm here with bad intentions. Dai Yao thought to himself, and then said, a distinguished guest is here. Is there something wrong? Yi Nantian looked around and saw Dai Yao sitting under the waterfall, struggling to resist the endless water. He nodded secretly in his heart. It seems that Wudong guy didn't lie to me. This kid is indeed a character. He said, you occupied Feng Wudong's training ground for no reason. She lost to you because her skills are inferior to others. But she is one of our civilian soul masters. It does not mean that there is no one among our civilian soul masters. Today I want to teach you a lesson. He said this, but he didn't think so in his heart. After knowing that Feng Wudong's mimetic environment was taken over by Dai Yao, he originally wanted to teach Dai Yao a lesson, but the incident of the second prince insulting Dai Yao in the cafeteria was too big, so he knew about Dai Yao's situation, and Feng Wudong also explained the whole story to him, so he was ready to pretend that this incident never happened. But Feng Wudong kept begging him to give Dai Yao some advice. He really couldn't stand it anymore, so he came to Dai Yao's training place today to prepare to meet this boy. If you want me to give you advice, you have to see if you are qualified. Yi Nantian thought silently. In the first paragraph, I tried a spoof writing method. If you think it works, you can leave a message below. If it doesn't work, I'll revise it when I come back. Chapter 35 Guidance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Nantian's reputation is astonishing. In the academy, except for those who participated in the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition, he is one of the ones with the highest soul power level. Dai Yao's heart gradually sank. He had no chance of winning against a level 29 attack-type fighting soul master with a top-level martial soul. These days, he was not in a good mood. Under the instigation of the two princes, people kept coming to the place where he was practicing to disturb him. What's more, they challenged him by name. There are soul masters and there are great soul masters, but he didn't agree. These people were all instigated by the second prince to interfere with his cultivation. Once he agrees to the duel due to the battle of spirits, whether he wins or loses, the challenger will become famous, so there will be people who will continue to challenge him. As for Dai Yao, it will no longer be possible to practice with peace of mind, and the gap between him and Dai Yaming will become wider and wider. One wave after another, Yi Nantian came to the door again. He felt a little gloomy in his heart and said to Yi Nantian, "You, a great soul master, are facing off against me, a first-level soul master. Don't you feel embarrassed?" Yi Nantian smiled calmly. "I heard that you defeated Dai Mubai, who is at the 17th level right after you obtained the spirit ring. I don't need the second spirit skill today. How about we compare?" In so many days, Dai Yao has accepted countless challenges. Now when he hears the word duel, he has some conditioned reflexes. Agreeing to a duel is not a trivial matter. He had some concerns about accepting a duel. After all, those people came to him to show off their prestige and become famous, so accepting their challenge would cause trouble. But Yi Nantian is different. He came here because civilian soul masters were bullied. As the leader of civilian soul masters, his reasons were extremely legitimate. What's more, the opportunity to communicate with a master is really rare. "Okay, I promise you." Boldness. Many people who heard my name surrendered directly. Not only did you not surrender, but you dared to accept my challenge. Yes, it is not the same as the coward mentioned in the rumors. Yi Nantian said with a wild smile, with a hint of appreciation for Dai Yao in his eyes. The two were on the shore, in a duel stance. The shore of the pool is wide enough to accommodate a duel between two people. Dai Yao, a 12th level battle soul master. "Wuhuan Baihu, please give me some advice." Dai Yao, possessed by Wuhuan, bowed. Yi Nantian's wrapped hands slowly lowered, and a powerful aura was released. Martial soul possession. That with a loud roar, his entire body grew in size. His already burly body became even more terrifying, and his hair became thick, like a lion's hair. He stood arrogantly on the spot. 29th level attack-type battle soul master, martial soul black armor mad lion. Before he finished speaking, Dai Yao used his explosive step and ran towards him as fast as lightning. So fast. Yi Nantian was surprised. This speed has already caught up with the average agility attack-type soul master. How did this kid do it? With such a fast speed, coupled with the rumored powerful self-created soul skills, the power of this punch should not be underestimated. Yi Nantian put aside his contempt, and he realized how powerful Dai Yao was just after meeting him. Cross your hands in front of you to resist. However, he found something was wrong. The seemingly fierce punch fell on his defense, but it felt light, like a gust of wind, without any strength. Is this punch so light? Yi Nantian was a little confused, but in an instant he realized something was wrong. This punch is just a feint. Another punch is Dai Yao's real attack. Dai Yao's eyes flashed brightly, the soul power in his body surged like a great river, and he feigned a punch that landed on Yi Nantian's defense. His body turned around, and the punch with all his strength hit Zhongman's chest directly from the gap under Yi Nantian's hands. Baji collapse. Dai Yao shouted angrily. There was a dull sound, and the powerful fist stirred up smoke and dust on the ground, covering Yi Nantian's entire body. Dai Yao was secretly happy. He had great confidence in his Bajabang, in the duel with One-Ring Soul Masters. Even Dai Mubai, who was 17th level, he could use Bajabang to meet Dai Yao, when dueling with Dai Mubai. Dai Mubai relied on his rich experience and the skill of combining reality and reality to completely overpower him. And play with him in the palm of his hand. After the victory, he reflected on his shortcomings. He first remembered the offensive awareness of combining virtual reality and reality in his mind. He used it for the first time today and made great achievements. However, the smoke and dust cleared, and a scene that shocked Dai Yao appeared. Yi Nantian stood there unscathed, and he punched another huge punch, exuding the terrifying aura of an ancient giant beast. Appearing together with Yi Nantian were his 2 yellow soul rings, the first of which shone brightly. After this blow, Yi Nantian said seriously, "It's a good blow. Among the first-ring soul masters, your power of this blow can be said to be among the best. If I hadn't used the first soul skill Wild Lion transformation in time, I'm afraid I would have been injured by you." Dai Yao's mood sank. He didn't expect that the blow he was determined to win would be blocked so easily, although Yi Nantian was a few years older and had stronger physical fitness. The air has solidified a bit, and the real showdown has only begun now. After Yi Nantian performed the Mad Lion transformation, his speed, strength, and all aspects were enhanced. It was simply a smaller version of the White Tiger King Kong transformation. In the next duel, Dai Yao used Bajibang to collide with Yi Nantian several times. Although he made some achievements, the victory was not certain. Moreover, the use of Bajibang requires time and a lot of soul power, and cannot be used continuously, so he had to use explosive steps to deal with Yi Nantian. Compared with Dai Yao, who fell into the quagmire and gradually became uneasy, Yi Nantian was even more shocked. You must know that although he came today at Feng Wudong's request, he would not hold back. Without using his second soul skill, he had already used all his strength. This Dai Yao is like a loach. If you have the chance, use Bajibang to hit him. When he is ready to counterattack, Dai Yao will use explosive steps to slip away. His speed is not as fast as Dai Yao, and he can't turn around even if he is caught. It made him very angry. "Good boy, I don't believe I can't catch you, a loach." He thought viciously. Dai Yao, who was dealing with Yi Nantian in the periphery, suddenly had a flash of light and discovered a huge flaw in Yi Nantian. Without thinking, he rushed forward instantly, and Bajibang exploded. At this time, Yi Nantian showed a successful smile. He had deliberately exposed this flaw, just waiting for Dai Yao to take advantage of it. Still young, Yi Nantian sighed. Mustering his muscles, he forcefully withstood Dai Yao's punch. The powerful force shocked his chest. Even though he had predicted the power of Dai Yao's punch, he did not expect it to be so painful, but his goal was achieved. He gradually clasped his hands together, showing a victorious smile. "You brat, you punched me so many times, I must pay you back." Dai Yao realized that something was wrong. As long as Yi Nantian's hug was completed, he would be completely imprisoned by Yi Nantian. Yi Nantian's body was extremely burly and he would definitely not be an opponent in close combat. The alarm bells were ringing in his head, but he couldn't think of a way to escape. The explosive step had no effect at this time. The hug was too fast and it was too late. Yi Nantian felt more and more happy, and he couldn't wait to beat Dai Yao, but his smile froze in the next second. He felt a strong pressure in front of him. This was an irresistible pressure coming from the depths of his martial soul. A pair of snow-white wings suddenly appeared behind Dai Yao in front of him. In a flash of lightning, he changed the direction of his body and narrowly avoided Yi Nantian's embrace. Drink drink drink. After escaping from Yi Nantian's attack range, Dai Yao breathed heavily, sweat dripping down his face. His carelessness almost ruined the outcome of the duel. If he hadn't used the second form of his martial spirit in time, he might have lost by now. He adjusted his mind and said to Yi Nantian, "Come again." Yi Nantian couldn't hide the shock on his face and said, "Is this your real martial spirit?" Dai Yao nodded. Yi Nantian's heart was filled with turmoil. In the past, it was his martial spirit that suppressed others. This was the first time that he was suppressed by someone else's martial spirit, you must know that his martial spirit is already the top martial spirit. Even when he fought against the eldest prince and the second prince, he never felt the pressure from the martial spirit, and now, he felt it in Dai Yao. He gave Dai Yao a complicated look, released the state of possession by the martial spirit, and said helplessly, "No more fighting." Dai Yao was a little confused. He was fighting vigorously just now, why did he suddenly stop fighting? As long as I defend carefully, you won't be able to hurt me, and I can't catch you. The final result will only be a draw. Nantian analyzed carefully and deduced the outcome of the game, but in the end he couldn't help but complain, "You are just a slippery loach." Dai Yao then also released the state of possession by the martial spirit, came to Nantian, bowed his hands, and "Thank you, brother Nantian." During the battle, although Nantian was frustrated, he did not violate the rules, used the power beyond the first-level soul master, and behaved well. Moreover, Dai Yao felt good intentions from Nantian. He clearly said that he wanted to teach him a lesson, but he didn't bring anyone over, which instead saved him face. What's more, he was already a joke in the college, so there was no need for Nantian to add insult to injury. Nantian nodded and praised, "Yes, you are not only talented, but also a person with a delicate mind. It was Feng Wudong who asked me to come and give you some guidance." Hearing that Nantian was begged by Feng Wudong, Dai Yao felt grateful to Feng Wudong. Suppressing the emotions in his heart, he hurriedly asked Nantian, "Brother Nantian, I wonder what I am lacking now." Nantian thought for a while and replied, "As of now, your several self-created soul skills have made you invincible among the first-level soul masters." He paused and said with some seriousness, "But your enemy is the second prince. The gap between you is really too big. Even I can't defeat him. Although the second prince's soul power is only level 25, he possesses a soul bone, which greatly increases his strength. Your current soul skills are enough to cope with the battle of a first-level soul master, but you lack the means to pose a threat to a great soul master." Dai Yao was shocked. He also noticed it during the battle just now. Even if he used the most powerful Bajibang, he could not cause effective damage to Nantian. What's more, it's still under the circumstances that Nantian has a hand. But Nantian continued to state the cruel facts: the gap between you is not only in soul skills, but also in soul power. How can your soul power of more than 10 levels compare to the second prince's soul power of level 25? In my opinion, you have no chance of defeating the second prince. After hearing Nantian's judgment, Dai Yao felt as if a huge stone had been pressed down on his heart. Unable to breathe, he tried his best to put on a smile and asked Nantian, "Indeed, at present, I am no match for the second prince, but I will not give up." "Okay." Nantian changed his face instantly and smiled heartily. "If you really listen to me and give up on yourself from now on, then I will look down upon you. Although I am only a civilian soul master and do not have the excellent training conditions of aristocratic soul masters, I don't think my future will be worse than theirs. In my opinion, your Bajibang has great potential. I have met a soul skill that uses boxing. Although the power of his fists is not as powerful as your Bajibang, he has a unique method. That's in gene. Everyone who fought him suffered terribly. As long as your Bajibang is equipped with dark energy, it will definitely be a great killer. Even if you face a great soul master, it will still have the power to fight." Nantian encouraged. "Thank you, brother Nantian." Dai Yao said gratefully. Nantian's words of wisdom pointed out the way forward for Dai Yao in the future. As long as he successfully imbues Bajibang with dark energy, he will have a better chance of winning in the showdown with the second prince. "Okay, I've said everything I need to say. That girl Feng Wudong finally has no reason to bother me." Nantian showed a scared expression, as if Feng Wudong was some kind of terrifying creature. "Speaking of which, I really want to beat you up. It hurts so much when you hit me." Nantian gritted his teeth and said to Dai Yao, "He who doesn't know is not guilty, brother Nantian." Dai Yao smiled awkwardly. His soul power was already running under his feet, as if he would use explosive steps to escape if he made a mistake. "You're just kidding, don't send me off when you leave. Nantian laughed, turned around and left, leaving Dai Yao with a back, and waved his hand coolly. That's right. He turned around and said, if one day we are in the same realm, we must fight against me. It's really not satisfying to keep suppressing the soul power today. Then, without looking back, the figure disappeared into the dense forest. Dai Yao watched Nantian leave and waited until he disappeared before returning to the waterfall. The cold waterfall hit his body, and Dai Yao's thoughts gradually calmed down. After defeating Dai Mubai, he felt a little relaxed. After all, he had overcome such a huge gap in soul power. But today, just by competing with Nantian, who suppressed his strength, he already felt that a great soul master and a first-level soul master were in completely different realms. The second prince is not only a great soul master, but also possesses soul bones. Dai Yao stroked his forehead. The difference in strength made him a little desperate. No matter what, practice hard and shorten the gap. With my potential, one day I will be stronger than him. He raised his fist and murmured to himself, facing the second prince, Baji Beng must have dark energy. 4,000 words, 2 chapters in 1. Chapter 36 3 years. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since my soul power became liquid, I haven't used liquid soul power to stimulate Bajibang. Dai Yao thought, after all, the power contained in the liquid soul power was too great, and he was worried that his body would not be able to bear it. After coming to the academy, after a period of recuperation, the originally deficient body gradually recovered. And now I can try the Bajibang of liquid soul power. Just do what you say, move the liquid soul power in the Dantian, and move it to the right arm. Suddenly, Dai Yao noticed a swelling feeling in his right arm, and huge energy filled the entire right arm. He came to the nearby forest, found a huge stone, and punched it on the stone. Boom! The stone dented downward, and Dai Yao's right arm was numb from the force of the shock. When he looked at the boulder, he was a little disappointed. The damage caused by this blow to the stone is only 50% more powerful than the ordinary Bajibang, still unable to pose a threat to the great soul master. Using liquid soul power to stimulate Bajibang is a dead end. It seems we can only place our hope on Engine. Dai Yao thought with disappointment. In fighting to break the sky, after Xiaoyan's Baji collapse attack was struck, it was not only powerful, but also had hidden power, making it hard to guard against. Dark energy, as the name suggests, is the energy in the dark. It seems like an ordinary blow, but it contains infinite power. After hitting the person's body, the person who was hit will feel pain from the internal organs, and then spread outward. This pain will become more and more painful, and for those who don't understand it, it may even cause instant stiffness. Nantian's guidance was indeed from a high position and coincided with Dai Yao's ideas. Because Dai Yao had also thought about the aspect of Engine, but he had tried many times and failed, so he had to give up. But Nantian's arrival gave him clues. That is compressed soul power. Compress the soul power, and use the blow of the fist to conduct the compressed soul power into the opponent's body, and then explode, causing the opponent to cause huge pain. However, compressing the soul power will put a lot of pressure on the body. If you are not careful, the soul power will explode and cause irreversible damage. Because of this, not many people choose to create their own soul skills. After all, blindly groping is likely to cause physical damage, and thus cut off the path of a soul master. But Dai Yao is different. He has Chaos Green Lotus to protect his body. Even if his body is injured, he can recover. As soon as he said it, Dai Yao first converted the liquid soul power into a gaseous state. After all, the energy of the liquid soul power was too great. Once the compression failed, the damage caused would be even greater. Although Qinglian can recover, it will take more time, so try to reduce the damage as much as possible. Move the gaseous soul power into your arms, concentrate, and slowly compress the soul power. But with the continuous compression, the repulsion between the soul powers became stronger and stronger, and the huge energy caused Dai Yao's spirit to be in a trance for a moment. Not good. Dai Yao screamed in his heart. This huge soul power was out of control and exploded in his arm. An astonishing air wave was generated in the forest, spreading around in a circular shape. The falling snow on the ground was blown away by the air wave, leaving only the frozen land. The surrounding trees seemed to have been blown by strong winds, and they fell outward one after another. With Dai Yao as the center, a circular open space without snow appeared. but in the center of the open space, Dai Yao was covering his right hand in pain. His right arm was dark and he was feeling severe pain. Sweat continued to fall, and Dai Yao gasped for air. Chaos Qinglian, recover for me. The green lotus in the spiritual world immediately emitted green light and flew towards Dai Yao's right arm. A cool breath flowed in his right arm, as if the spring breeze was blowing across the earth, and life appeared, and the pain suddenly subsided a lot, but Dai Yao didn't stop. Although his right arm was injured, he still had his left arm and he could try again. If it is not successful, you can only try again after complete recovery. Following the steps for the first time, Dai Yao slowly compressed his soul power. Just when his soul power was about to explode, his eyes flashed and he quickly punched the boulder. This time the Baji collapse was less powerful than the first time, leaving only small craters on the boulders. Did it succeed? After being highly concentrated for a long time, Dai Yao's body was extremely exhausted and he was panting heavily. He thought suspiciously as he looked at the dent caused by the Baji collapse this time. Approaching the boulder, nothing seems out of the ordinary on the surface. We can only know that the power this time is smaller. After all, it is understandable that the liquid soul power used for the first time is more powerful. However, when he walked behind the boulder, Dai Yao was immediately pleasantly surprised. On the back of the boulder, there appeared a lot of gravel, which fell on the ground sparsely, all in one piece, all falling from the boulder. The strength of this blow penetrated the thick boulder and was transmitted to the back of the boulder. It is conceivable what a miserable situation is inside the stone. He used his soul power to slowly wear away the boulder, and after 3 hours, the boulder was split from it. An astonishing scene appeared on the cross-section of the stone. Starting from Dai Yao's boxing point, a fan-shaped gravel area appeared, reaching to the back of the boulder. In other words, Dai Yao's punch pierced through the entire boulder, and on the punching point of his first punch, there were only a little shallow lines on the edge of the pit. The gap between the two is so huge, the power of dark energy is so terrifying. I succeeded. Dai Yao thought excitedly. Okay, with this first successful experience, it is no longer a fantasy to completely control Njin. As long as you master Njin, you have a certain chance of winning in the competition with Dai Yaming. Dai Yao clenched his uninjured hand. Left hand, imagine the future. 3 years later, under the waterfall, a wet man Saturday. Although this man was a little embarrassed, his heroic spirit could not be concealed at all. The muscles are well proportioned, the figure is as straight as a gun, the face is resolute, and the figure is heroic. His eyes were piercing, and his black eyes were like cold stars. This person is Dai Yao, who is 9 years old. The critical moment has arrived. Dai Yao calmed down and said silently, the soul power in the body surged like a sea, rushing towards the bottleneck in the body. The next moment, a powerful momentum burst out, and the falling waterfall suddenly reversed, went upstream, collided with the falling water, and then fell into the pool together, making a deafening sound, like a prison bird flying into the sky. It regains its freedom. Dai Yao felt that his body suddenly became lighter, and his originally surging soul gradually calmed down. Finally a breakthrough. There was genuine joy on his face. 3 years of practicing day and night finally paid off at this moment. Just today his soul power has reached level 20. You must know that in 3 years, you can reach level 20 from level 11, which is considered a genius, and Dai Yao's soul power is in liquid form, so he requires much more soul power than an ordinary soul master. Feeling the full soul power in his body, Dai Yao silently thought that it was time to obtain the second soul ring. Chapter 37 Purple Lotus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the past 3 years, Dai Yao's Bajibeng has been practiced to an extremely terrifying level. According to Nantian's assessment, his move is enough to give many great soul masters headaches. Dai Yao still has things to do before obtaining the second soul ring, because he discovered something strange in his spiritual world. In the past 3 years, with every level of his soul power, the chaos green lotus in the spiritual world has bloomed an extra petal. Today, he has reached level 20, and he doesn't know what has become of the chaos green lotus. His mind sank into the spiritual world and came to chaos Qinglian. The green lotus slowly opened its 10th petal, and in an instant, the entire spiritual world seemed to be illuminated by blue light. The sacred white tiger folded its wings, and the entire tiger body was shrouded under the wings, trembling. When the light dissipated, the color of the flowers gradually changed, from green to purple, and The green lotus completely turned into a purple lotus. The purple lotus broke away from its rhizome and fell to the ground, while the rhizome of the green lotus gradually withered and turned into fly ash. Dai Yao picked up Zilian and looked at it carefully. The purple lotus gently stretches its petals, exuding amazing temptation. What is the use of this purple lotus? Dai Yao looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Compared with the purple lotus, which he didn't know its use, he would rather have the green lotus. After Dai Yao took away the purple lotus, a little green sprout appeared on the withered green lotus, growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few breaths, another chaotic green lotus appeared, 12 leaves, and the flower bones wrapped in layers that have not yet bloomed. Dai Yao gradually realized that every time he leveled up, the green lotus would bloom into a petal, until the 10th petal bloomed, forming a lotus. This time it's a purple lotus. What kind of lotus is the next one? Dai Yao couldn't help but think. My mind returned to the real world, and with a thought, a purple lotus appeared on my hand. Sure enough, this purple lotus is a natural treasure. In the original work, Tang San used the immortal grass of the ice and fire eyes to enhance the soul power of the 7 monsters. He even enhanced Ning Rongrong's martial spirit and upgraded the 7 treasures glazed pagoda to the 9 treasures glazed pagoda. Then what effect does this purple lotus have? Dai Yao thought, do I have to go to Tang San and ask him to introduce the effect of purple lotus? Then he smiled helplessly. According to Tang San's character, he will definitely not be able to tolerate me. A person who can pick immortal grass without leaving any roots with his eyes of ice and fire, how can he not be jealous after knowing that I have such a natural and earthly treasure? Once he finds out that I have a treasure like Zilian, he will definitely take action against me when he becomes a god in the future. It seems that I can only explore slowly by myself. Dai Yao touched his chin and thought, go through the waterfall and into the cave. Zhu Zhuqing was cultivating with his legs crossed. When he noticed the movement in the cave, he opened his eyes, looked at Dai Yao whose aura was obviously different, and said in surprise. You successfully broke through. She flew into Dai Yao's arms, ignoring Dai Yao's wet body, with a rare smile on her cold face. In the past 3 years, Zhu Zhuqing has also gradually grown, and the fiery figure can already be seen in its infancy, and the exquisite facial features are fascinating. During her daily studies, she attracted the attention of many boys. It's just that she has always been cold, so she has the nickname of Bingshan Beauty in the college. Compared with the well-known Zhu Zhuqing, Dai Yao's reputation is much worse. The reputation of a coward has been spread for 3 years, and it is deeply rooted in everyone's hearts. In the past 3 years, he has not accepted a single challenge, and he has been slandered by the students of the academy. Everyone knew that Zhu Zhuqing was the fiancé of the 4th Prince Dai Yao. They all thought it was a flower stuck in cow dung and felt pity that Zhu Zhuqing had a fiancé with a weak character. If those suitors of hers saw the famous iceberg beauty in the academy smiling so beautifully in the arms of a man, they would definitely be heartbroken. Hugging Zhu Zhuqing tightly, sniffing the fragrance of her hair, Dai Yao said softly, I'm sorry, you have been wronged in the past 3 years. Because of my reputation, you have suffered a lot of unfair treatment in the academy. But Zhu Zhuqing shook his head slightly and said, you are the one who is wronged, you are the one who really bears the insult, and you are the one who accepts the strange look. In the past 3 years, she has seen Dai Yao's changes. After years of practice, I have exhausted my soul power and fallen into the water countless times, and then stood up again and again. Once I am ready to go, I will be like an unsheathed sword, with an intimidating and indomitable momentum. This is a rare kind of self-confidence, a deep-seated self-confidence cultivated by countless failures and countless times of standing up. Looking at the heroic boy in front of him, Zhu Zhuqing was a little proud. In the eyes of others, he is a coward, but in her eyes, he is an indomitable hero in the face of difficulties. After getting along for a while, we came outside the cave. Zhu Zhuqing looked at the sky, and said sadly, I'm going to say goodbye to you again. I'm going home to get the 2nd soul ring. In the past 3 years, not only Dai Yao has reached level 20, but Zhu Zhuqing has also reached level 20. Because of his assistance, he has even reached level 20 faster than him. Because her family was far away and needed to prepare chariots and horses, she waited for a while. Zhu Zhuqing finally hugged Dai Yao, and said softly, see you when we all become great soul masters. that looking at the departing figures, Dai Yao felt reluctant to part ways, but more importantly, he was looking forward to getting together after becoming a great soul master. At this moment, a catkin caught Dai Yao's shoulder. Startling him, looking back, a bright face appeared in front of me. Dressed in fiery red clothes and with fiery red hair, it was none other than Feng Wudong. In 3 years, Feng Wudong also grew up. She is beautiful and has many suitors in the academy, but most of the nobles who pursued her just wanted to take her as their concubine. Therefore, Feng Wudong has no good looks towards them. She is already 12 years old this year, and her soul power has reached level 19. She put one hand on Dai Yao's shoulder, and her eyes were full of watching a show. Still watching, everyone is almost gone. Dai Yao was too lazy to answer. After several years of getting along, he and Feng Wudong had become completely brothers. Sometimes Feng Wudong would even comment with him on the beautiful girls in the college. Of course, they were all behind Zhu Zhuqing's back, pushing the hand away from his shoulder. Dai Yao sounded like a scoundrel. Hey, let's see, who told me I have a fiancé? Are you jealous, single? Hearing the word single dog, Feng Wudong became a little angry. Who told you nobles that the clan rules are so perverted that you got engaged when you were only 6 years old? After bickering for a while, Dai Yao said, I have reached level 20 now. In a few days of preparation, I will return to the clan to obtain the second soul ring. Feng Wudong was surprised when he heard the news that Dai Yao had broken through level 20, and then smiled helplessly. You nobles are so talented. Sister Zhu Qing broke through level 20 not long ago, and now you have also broken through level 20. It's so annoying that people are so different from each other. I'm obviously 3 years older than you, but my soul power level is 1 level lower. She said angrily. At this moment, a staggering figure emerged from the woods, looking anxious. He was a male student. He glanced at Dai Yao with undisguised contempt in his eyes. Then he looked at Feng Wudong. Oops. Zhu Zhuqing is about to be. Chapter 38 Zhu Zhuqing's Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oops. Zhu Zhuqing was almost beaten to death by her sister Zhu Zhuiwei in the duel field. The male student looked anxious. He was Feng Wudong's classmate and also knew Zhu Zhuqing, so he came to inform her specially, and Dai Yao, as Zhu Zhuqing's fiancé, was just a useless coward in his eyes. It was useless to tell him that the male students were too lazy to talk to Dai Yao. Where are they? Upon hearing the news, Dai Yao was stunned, then became cold and stern, and asked the male student anxiously. In 3 years, the hatred between him and the second prince has not diminished at all, even though he has not left the cultivation place for 3 years. What's the use of telling you? The male student looked at Dai Yao contemptuously. Dai Yao gritted his teeth, his veins were exposed, and his chest was filled with burning hatred for Dai Yaming and the two of them. In the past 3 years, he had endured countless humiliations. Even if his mother was belittled, he would have to break his teeth and swallow it, but today, something unexpected happened to Zhu Zhuqing, and he couldn't bear it anymore. If he still talks about being patient when his fiancée is in danger, then he will really become a coward. He knew that in the eyes of these students, he was a weak person. Not bothering to explain, he directly released his level 20 soul power and said in a cold tone, quickly tell me, they are in that arena now. An extremely powerful aura burst out from Dai Yao's body. Feng Wudong was okay, but the male student's breathing became rapid. Such a strong soul power. Is this really the coward in the rumors? He looked at Dai Yao, who released his powerful soul power in shock, and murmured in reply, in the first arena of the academy. After knowing the address, he was instantly possessed by the spirit of martial arts, performed an explosive step, and jumped into the air, like a white lightning, gliding towards the academy with the help of his wings. The male student stared blankly at Dai Yao, who was flying far away. Dai Yao's performance just now completely overturned his impression, and he couldn't help but ask Feng Wudong. Is he really the coward he is rumored to be? I just felt indescribable fear from his martial spirit. Feng Wudong smiled softly. He is not a coward. He has more important things to do than getting a bad reputation. Star Luo Royal Academy, Arena. At this time, the arena was bustling with people, countless students were sitting in the auditorium watching the game, including civilian soul masters and noble soul masters. Everyone showed admiration for the two people competing on the stage from time to time, just because the two girls in the arena are too beautiful, two girls, one big and one small, one is as passionate as fire, the other is as cold as ice, the first girl is older, has a hot figure, and has a pair of seductive peach blossom eyes. Moreover, the clothes she wore were tight against her skin, and the black tights outlined an amazing curve, which was rugged and imaginative. His provocative behavior would cause the audience to howl from time to time. It was Zhu Zhuqing. The other woman was smaller, although she is young, her hot figure can already be seen, and she will definitely be a beautiful woman who will conquer the country in the future, but her face was expressionless, and her whole body exuded a cold aura. This iceberg beauty also has many supporters in the academy, none other than Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing's fiancé was famous, while Zhu Zhuqing's fiancé was notorious. Even so, Zhu Zhuqing remained loyal to her fiancé, making countless admirers beat their chests. Zhu Zhuqing smiled seductively, her peach blossom eyes gleaming. My dear sister, it's not easy to meet you. I didn't expect that 3 years later, you would give me such a big surprise. Not long ago, Zhu Zhuqing broke through level 20 and was about to return to his family to obtain the second soul ring. He notified the academy to prepare a carriage, but someone leaked the news in the process. The news that Zhu Zhuqing broke through level 20 shocked her extremely. You must know that he is only at the 27th level now. Zhu Zhuqing is 3 or 4 years younger than her. He only has a soul ring to become a great soul master like her. Zhu Zhuqing's talent made her jealous. Why was God so unfair? Why was such a good talent given to Zhu Zhuqing instead of her? If she gave him the words, she might be able to help her Dai Yaming win in the fight between the second prince and the eldest prince. The humiliation brought by Zhu Zhuqing for so many years can be paid back. 2 yellow soul rings surrounded Zhu Zhuqing. She walked with enchanting steps and lit up the first soul ring. Her peach blossom eyes no longer sent glances, but became very fierce. The first soul skill, 100 Claws of the Netherworld. She turned into a purple shadow and rushed towards Zhu Zhuqing quickly. At this time, Zhu Zhuqing was at the end of his strength. The two of them have been fighting for a long time. Her soul power is much lower than Zhu Zhuqing's, and she has not obtained the second soul ring yet, so she is no match for Zhu Zhuqing. She suffered a lot of injuries on her body. She gritted her teeth and held on to her dislocated right arm. With perseverance in her beautiful eyes, she forcibly activated her first soul skill and rushed towards Zhu Zhuqing with just one hand. As expected, Zhu Zhuqing was knocked out and fell heavily to the ground, vomiting blood. Like a broken rose, there is a kind of broken beauty, and countless people in the audience were heartbroken. Zhu Zhuqing showed a proud smile and walked slowly towards Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing endured the pain and moved back bit by bit with difficulty. The blow just now caused huge damage to her body. There was a deep wound on her arm that was visible to the bone. However, under the suppression of soul power, it doesn't hurt that much. My sister, what a pity. If your cowardly fiancé hadn't come here, maybe today next year will be your death anniversary. Zhu Zhuqing smiled crazily, looking at the painful Zhu Zhuqing, as if she saw herself in pain and powerlessness under Zhu Zhuqing's attack. She waited for a while and said regretfully, "It seems that your fiancé is not coming back. He is really a coward." Seeing this scene, the onlookers were also very angry. It's like a flower stuck in cow dung. This fourth prince has no sense of responsibility. His fiancé has been beaten like this and she still can't come out. That's right, it's really embarrassing for us men. It's understandable if the fourth prince doesn't come. After all, facing a great soul master, there is no chance of winning. Everyone looked at the man who said this with contempt. This man is just like the fourth prince, he is also a coward. Senior sisters teaching experience to junior students, schoolgirls, keep your eyes open. You must be careful with this kind of man. Even if his martial arts is not good, even if his level is not high, he must still be responsible. The fat man said helplessly, "Your Majesty, that brat will never come. I scolded him for 2 years in his training place. Knowing that I am a great soul master, he never retaliates. Your Majesty's soul power level is higher than mine, how could he come? Zhu Zhuqing looked at Zhu Zhuqing and showed a true smile. Sister, it seems that your taste in choosing men is not very good. In this case, you should say goodbye to this world and don't be reincarnated into the Zhu family in the next life. All the foreshadowing is over, the next chapter will come later. Chapter 39, Furious. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The first yellow soul ring on Zhu Zhuqing's body shone, and her 5 fingers turned into 5 sharp daggers, striking at Zhu Zhuqing. Seeing the oncoming attack, Zhu Zhuqing closed his eyes in despair. She didn't know if Dai Yao would come to save her. After 9 years of forbearance, Dai Yao finally became a great soul master and had a glimmer of hope of revenge against the queen. If he came today, he could only be a pair of mandarin ducks with the same destiny. After all, in the world's perception, it is impossible for a first-level soul master to defeat a great soul master. On both sides of the scale, one side has sacrificed 9 years for revenge, and the other side is her. She doesn't know what choice Dai Yao will make, however, she selfishly hopes that Dai Yao can come over. Even just seeing him in the audience is enough to prove that she has a certain place in Dai Yao's heart. The 100 claws of the netherworld with the aura of death were getting closer and closer, and Zhu Zhuqing's heart gradually sank to the bottom. It seems that Dai Yao will not come to save her. A white lightning flashed across the sky quickly and fell into the center of the arena, stirring up thick smoke and dust. This surprising change immediately attracted people's attention. Many people stood up and stood at the fence and stuck their heads out, trying to see clearly what had just happened. In the scene, Zhu Zhuqing's beauty frowned, and she noticed a familiar aura in the smoke. That was the aura of the white tiger martial spirit. When the smoke dispersed, a white shield appeared. The shield disappeared and Zhu Zhuqing was surrounded by a figure. Seeing this scene, many aristocratic soul masters in the audience were upset, wondering why they had missed such a good time to be so attentive, and let this man seize the opportunity. When the man turned around, Zhu Zhuqing recognized the person and said in surprise, Dai Yao? Dai Yao? Isn't he the 4th prince? Is it that notorious incompetent man? That this name caused a discussion in the audience. The 4th prince was recognized as an incompetent person in the academy. Countless people challenged him, but he refused. The man in the field was completely different from the one he imagined. He has sharp eyebrows and starry eyes, and a heroic appearance. His whole person exudes an indomitable self-confidence. He is obviously a beautiful young man. How can he be associated with the name of a coward? Even Zhu Zhuqing in the field was brilliant. Looking at the seriously injured Zhu Zhuqing, Dai Yao said guiltily, I'm sorry, I'm late. Hearing the familiar voice, Zhu Zhuqing slowly opened his eyes. The familiar face was right in front of him, and tears burst into his eyes. I'll send you off first, heal your injuries first, and leave the rest to me. Dai Yao comforted him with a gentle tone. No, you haven't obtained the soul ring yet, so you can't defeat them. Zhu Zhuqing advised worriedly, regardless of the pain in his body. Trust me, nothing will happen. Just when he turned around and wanted to send Zhu Zhuqing off the stage, Zhu Zhuqing stopped him and said, Aren't you too presumptuous? This is obviously a duel between my sister and I. If you step in, you don't take me seriously. Got it? Aren't you treating Zhuqing like this just to force me to show up? Well, now I accept your invitation to duel. How about I replace Zhuqing? Dai Yao knew their purpose and simply agreed to their request. Okay. Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes sparkled. He has been sending people to challenge Dai Yao for 2 years, but he has never accepted the challenge. Today, he seized the opportunity and used Zhu Zhuqing to force him out. He must not let him go back, lest he become a coward again and shrink for another 3 years. The second prince, who had been expressionless off the court, finally spoke up and said to Zhu Zhuqing, Zhuqing, come down and let the fat man go up and fight. In the battle with Zhu Zhuqing just now, Zhu Zhuqing used her soul power unlimitedly in order to achieve the killing effect, but now she only has less than 30% left. Moreover, he heard that Dai Yao has a self-created soul skill that can increase his speed. His speed is even comparable to that of agility and attack-type soul masters. Coupled with the physical increase brought by the white tiger martial spirit, Zhu Zhuqing's chances of winning are not high now. to be on the safe side, it would be better to send a level 25 fat guy. In fact, he prefers to do it by himself. This is the foolproof way, but he had to take into account the thoughts of the onlookers. It was really detrimental to his reputation for the dignified second prince to bully a first-level soul master with his status as a great soul master. His current target is only the eldest prince. He is already in a weak position. If his reputation is ruined, then there is really no hope. When the Kangxi dynasty competed for the crown prince position, the weak 8th prince managed his own reputation and gained the reputation of the 8 wise kings, which posed a great threat to Yongjing, who was still the 4th prince at the time. The fat man said eagerly, "Thank you, your highness." In the past 3 years, Dai Yao has been practicing day and night, and he has been cursing and provoking day and night, trying to provoke Dai Yao into a duel with him, which even delayed a lot of his training time. He also hated that little tortoise. Teeth itchy. Today he finally got what he wanted. He wanted Dai Yao to taste the resentment he had accumulated over the past 2 years. The fat man jumped onto the stage and looked at Dai Yao with evil intentions. "You brat, I thought you would always stay in your lair. I can't tell, you are still a lover." He admired Dai Yao for risking his life to save Zhu Zhuqing. However, Dai Yao ignored him at all. He just looked at Dai Yaming and said coldly, "What happened today must be paid with blood. Since you sent him to power, I will charge some interest first." The fat man who was ignored by Dai Yao was completely angry. "What is so arrogant about a one-ring soul master? You brat, cherish the time you have now. You can never leave the arena standing today." Possessed by the martial spirit, a powerful aura centered on the fat man and spread to the surroundings. Many first-ring soul masters felt the huge pressure and sighed for Dai Yao's ignorance. Even though they were so far apart, they could feel the pressure. How could Dai Yao, who was so close, be under less pressure? It is impossible for a first-level soul master to overcome the level gap and defeat a great soul master. Not only is the difference in soul power, there is also a missing soul ring skill, the fat man said to Dai Yao arrogantly. 25th level war spirit master, spirit war mammoth, please give me your advice. An equally powerful momentum burst out from Dai Yao's body. After being possessed by the martial spirit, Dai Yao did not bow, but directly assumed a fighting posture, his face as cold as ice, and his eyes fixed on the fat man. Dai Yao, level 20 fighting spirit master, martial spirit white tiger. Being stared at by Dai Yao like this, Fatty also felt a little flustered, as if he was being targeted by a ferocious beast. Is this the legendary shrunken turtle? Someone rubbed his eyes and asked his companions in disbelief. The companion was also stunned and said uncertainly, "It seems, right? How old is he?" "He has already reached level 20 soul power." Dai Yao's power aroused another discussion in the audience, and in their hearts, the illusory image of a certain person began to shatter. Finally reached the climax. I have read all your comments, and when I look back, I have indeed discovered a problem in my writing. Thank you all. I will work hard to correct it and try not to do it again in the future. The 3rd volume is more relaxed, and a girl will appear. De Guyen. Chapter 40 Massacre. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Fatty felt a little uneasy. Unexpectedly, Dai Yao reached level 20 in just 3 years. Fortunately, he hasn't obtained the 2nd soul ring yet, otherwise this duel would really be difficult to predict. The first yellow soul ring lit up. The first soul skill, or collision. After being possessed by Wu Huan, his weight increased exponentially, and he rushed towards Dai Yao with an unstoppable momentum. Every step on the ground can cause quite a vibration. With a cruel smile, he wanted to tear Dai Yao into pieces. Faced with the almost substantial pressure that came to him, Dai Yao was a little happy. These 3 years of hard work have finally paid off. Sitting under the waterfall for 3 years, resisting the endless water pressure, he was like a dexterous fish, swimming in the pressure released by the fat man, avoiding all pressure. Sure enough, 3 years of hard work has not been in vain. Dai Yao thought happily. Using the explosive step, it rushed towards the fat man like a white lightning. Is he a fool? He is a first-level soul master who actually wants to go head-to-head with a great soul master. The onlookers' soul masters thought. The mantis's arm is like a chariot. These nobles really have no actual combat experience at all. A civilian soul master looked at Dai Yao with contempt and made a judgment. The soul power is okay, but the brain is not very good. Someone shook his head. In their understanding, first-level soul masters completely lag behind great soul masters in terms of soul power and strength. Going head-to-head with a great soul master is simply asking for death. The original surprise caused by Dai Yao's soul power level disappeared without a trace, and the impression of Dai Yao who was cowardly and incompetent came back to his mind. Sure enough, he is just an incompetent person. Zhu Zhuqing in the audience also stood next to Dai Yaming with a smile, looking forward to Dai Yao's next tragedy. But Dai Yaming felt something unusual. Dai Yao has never been a reckless person. Whether it was his 6 years of forbearance in the cold palace or his 3 years of enduring humiliation in the academy, he was never like this. Why did he do this? He thought in confusion. Is it possible that he has the ability to confront the fat man head-on? He immediately stared at the field in surprise. Seeing Dai Yao rushing towards him, the fat man was not surprised but happy. It's true that there is a way to heaven but you don't take it, and there is no door to hell but you break in. Since you have given up resistance, I will definitely give you a breath of air. From Fatty's point of view, Dai Yao's move was completely giving away his life. Dai Yao was not affected by his words at all, anger burning in his chest, the soul power in his body poured into his right hand with an overwhelming momentum, and then he let out a loud shout. Baji collapse. In the disdainful eyes of everyone, the two figures approached quickly and collided with each other, making a thunderous sound. The fat man just swayed on the spot and stabilized his figure, but Dai Yao was rebounded by the powerful force and flew backwards. He took a few steps to stop his retreat. Seeing Dai Yao's embarrassed look, the fat man laughed arrogantly and said, with such little ability, you can still talk nonsense about blood debts being paid with blood. It's really shameless. In the eyes of the onlookers, there was no surprise in the outcome of this duel. But they were also surprised by the power of Dai Yao's attack. No wonder he dared to confront the great soul master head-on. It turned out that he had a few tricks up his sleeve. Sure enough, there is no advantage at all in head-to-head confrontation. Dai Yao thought silently, but his killing move was not as powerful as Baji Bingming said, but in Jin, just when the fat man was feeling proud, a sharp pain hit his arm. It hurts. The fat man's expression suddenly became ferocious, and beads of sweat continued to fall. He felt an extremely overbearing force raging in his body, making him unable to move. Dai Yao, who had just stopped his decline, showed a cruel smile. This was the true power of his Baji Bang. He bent his knees slightly, kicked off his feet, performed a burst step, and rushed towards the fat man faster than the first time. He knew that the opportunity was fleeting, and the other party did not understand Baji Bang, so he had such a rare opportunity. Once Fatty becomes familiar with it, it will be difficult for him to have such an opportunity again. He smiled ferociously, and in a blink of an eye, he was in front of the fat man, grabbed the fat man's injured hand with one hand, and hit the fat man's elbow hard in the face of the fat man's frightened eyes. Only a painful scream was heard. The scream was so shrill that all the onlookers felt a little palpitated. The sudden change caused the entire arena to fall silent. The fat man's entire hand was broken in reverse. He covered his trembling hand in pain and struggled back with fear in his eyes. After breaking his hand, his strength was now greatly weakened, and the severe pain continued to stimulate his nerves. He knew that he was no longer Dai Yao's opponent, but Dai Yao would not let him go easily. He approached the fat man step by step, like the footsteps of the god of death. The fat man looked at Dai Yao, who was getting closer, and suddenly understood what Dai Yao was thinking. Zhu Zhuqing had just played with Zhu Zhuqing wantonly, and now Dai Yao was going to kill him too. He struggled, wanting to admit defeat. As long as the referee is present, he can leave the game simply by admitting defeat, but Dai Yao didn't give him this chance at all. Dai Yao's face was now extremely ferocious, like lightning, carrying a strong wind. Baji Bang hit the fat man's mouth so hard that he could no longer speak. With one punch, the fat man's face changed beyond recognition. His eyes were so beaten that stars were shining from his eyes, his teeth fell all over the floor, his mouth was full of blood, and only his intermittent breathing proved that he was still alive. Dai Yao's fists were covered in blood, and his skin was torn, revealing his white bones. It can be seen how powerful he used this punch. This punch is for my mother. Dai Yao roared like a wild beast. In the past 3 years, Fatty not only insulted him, but also insulted his mother in order to provoke him to a duel. He is not a stupid person. His mother's reputation was insulted, but he did nothing, he just kept it in his heart, and the anger he had accumulated for 3 years turned into this punch, but he didn't stop, he continued to mobilize his soul power, and punched the fat man hard in the face with another punch, bajabang. This punch was for Zhu Zhuqing. The fat man's head sank into the ground, causing cracks in the ground around him. After one punch, the fat man's face was unrecognizable, and the bruise on Dai Yao's fist became more and more serious, but he didn't stop yet. He raised his fist high and came down hard. The third punch hit the fat man in the face. This punch is for myself. That the fat man's entire head sank into the ground, and he twitched from time to time. Dai Yao gasped for breath and fell to his knees uncontrollably. After these 3 punches, he was already exhausted. 3 years of forbearance and 3 years of anger are finally released today. The arena became extremely silent, and the onlookers stared blankly at this scene. They saw a one-ring soul master defeating a great soul master head-on. Dai Yao's 3 punches not only hit the fat man's face, but also hit their hearts, shattering the image of cowardice and incompetence in their minds. Although Dai Yao knelt on the ground, there was a figure like a demon in their hearts. Chapter 1, Chapter 2 later, I don't know why, but I can't write the effect that the climax should have at all.